Company culture. Some are great, some are not so great. But are you stuck with what you have, or is it impossible to improve the company culture at your business? And here with us today is Impact Coach Allison Riggs to teach us how to do just that. How's it going, Allison?
It's going great, Austin. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, we're talking to you. I know you have coached a lot of different companies, helped a lot of different leaders, and, talking about company culture, it can be tricky. Is that something you can improve? And if so, what are your tips to do so?
It is definitely something you can improve, Austin. And just like any other initiative in your organization, it takes time, energy, and passion to want to create change. And there are three really easy ways to help implement a cultural change within your organization. And the first one is have a really clear vision and values, whether they're statements or just bullet points that you want to create. The first thing you need to do, though, is build that foundation. What do you want your company culture to look like? Paint that picture, create a vision statement, create those core values, and have it documented somewhere. Now, this doesn't have to be overly fancy too, Austin. This can just be who you want to be as an organization and what that looks like in practice. And so with They Ask You Answer, we know that's to be the number one educator, to be the thought leader in our space. That is a culture that you can build within your organization, right?
Awesome.
So the first thing is you got to write it out, build it out.
Awesome. And yeah, I like how you said write it out, make sure it's documented, because even though it sounds simple, like, yeah, write it down, it's one of those things that if you don't do that, there can be problems later where it's something so simple in the beginning where if you miss it, it can cause problems in the end. So I like that a lot. What's tip number 2?
Yeah. So tip number 2 is whether you're a leader or whether you're a contributor, you have to live this culture every day. And especially as leaders, you have to talk the talk, write it out, but walk the walk as well. So that means, let's say you were to say we want to be the thought leader in our space. You need to act that out as a leader, which means like transparency, being super transparent and open, having open communication, bringing this into your leadership team meetings, bringing this into your all hands and company wide meetings. But you have to, as a leader, especially, you have to live that culture and let it be seen and heard throughout your organization.
Yeah. And on that too, it's not just in those meetings where you're talking to everyone, it's after that meeting as well, because people are watching, people are listening in those moments where you may not think so. So you have to do it in those times as well.
Yeah, because that's what they're coming back to is if we expect to hold our teams accountable to a culture and if we really expect things to change, what is that age old saying? It's like you be the change you seek in the world. That is going to be the biggest piece here of you've got to live it yourself in order for it to actually make a change and to actually shift in the organization. They have to see it and see it being done well.
Yeah. Awesome. Makes sense. All right. Third and final tip.
So the third and final tip in this is holding your team members accountable to that culture. And what that can look like is making your culture a part of your performance reviews. So here at Impact, we do this really well in that our scorecards for our team members are broken into 2 parts. One are the job responsibilities that we're expected to meet, reach every quarter, every month, every week, every day, right? But then we also have a culture component to our performance reviews. And it's also very specific of how you can live out that culture. And then we hold people to it and we keep them accountable. And we talk about it in our one-on-ones and we talk about it in those performance reviews and evaluations so that it becomes ingrained in the everyday life of your team members.
Awesome. I like that a lot. That sounds like a great ideal to kind of be, hitting those three things. If someone's a little intimidated, like, oh, that sounds a lot to get started, what's something quick and actionable they can do for a small win today to then work their way into these things?
Start having conversations about your company culture. You don't have to jump into solutions, but start asking questions. Start thinking through what would be an ideal culture for your organization. Who do you want your company to be seen as? And just start thinking about it. Start talking about it. As a leadership team, you will start to have more conversations, which will lead into the tactical side. But then also, your employees will see that this is something important to you and something that you're starting to take charge on as an organization.
Awesome. Yeah, I know as an employee, when I hear my leaders talking about company culture, I know, like you said, that that's something they're thinking about, which gives me more confidence in the way they're leading. So that's a great tip right there. Well, thank you for providing all this information. You got us a lot of good stuff today, and we're excited to see you on the next one.
Sounds good, Austin.
How's the culture at your company? Is it great? Or is it something maybe you feel like you need help with? If it is, contact us at impactplus.com today to start working with a coach just like Allison.